class. In this video we are going to learn about decimal numbers. So let's get inside the topic. So can you see the numbers in the screen? So what are these numbers? So can anyone guess what these numbers are? We have learned about fraction, right? So we in a fraction we have numerator and denominator. We learned about whole numbers. But what are these numbers? We have never learned about that, right? So in this video we are going to learn about these numbers. Okay, so we call these numbers as decimal numbers. So a decimal number is another way of writing a number that contains a fraction. So if you see, a decimal number is always between two numbers. For example, if you see in the screen, it is 5.25. So when I say 5.25, it is a decimal number. So it comes between 5 and 6, which means it is more than 5 but not more than 6. That is, it is more than 5 but less than 6. So we call it as decimal number. So we are going to learn in detail about this decimal number. Clear? Fine. So first you must know what is a decimal number. A decimal, first before knowing about decimal number, first you must know what is a decimal. So a decimal is just a point. Okay, it's a dot that separates the whole number and a fraction. Have you understood? Fine, no problem. Let me explain more in detail. Okay, now first let me explain you the place value, like how you have place value for whole number, same way you have place value for decimal. Okay, so you can see here they have a point. Can you see the point here? Can you see? So this is what we call as decimal point. Okay, so to the left side of the decimal point you have whole number. So the normal place value of the whole number, that is ones, tens, 100, 1000 as usual. To the right side of the decimal point you have the place value as tenth, 100th, 1000th. Now how come? For example, if you take 26, so the first place value is my ones, right? And my second place value is tens, right? That is, from ones, if I multiply 10 times I'll get the tens place value. So each place value is nothing but the multiplication of tens, right? Same way, from tens, if I need to go to ones, I need to divide by 10. Okay, if I want to go further from ones, if I want to go further, okay, so what it will be? Okay, so it is nothing but division. So for example, if I want to go further next to 6, what it will be? It is just I need to divide by 10. So the number divided by 10, right? So can you see, that is 6 by 10. We call it as this place value. This place value we call it as 10th place value. If you want to go further again, what I will do? 10 into 10, so it will be 100, right? So it will be 100th place value, not 100, it is 100. That is, out of 100, that some part. So 100th, out of 100, some part. Out of 10th, 6 parts. Okay, so that is what we call as the place value for decimals. Okay, that is ones, tens, 100, 1000 goes in the left side. In the right side you have tenth, that is 1 by 10th, 1 by 100th, 1 by 1000th, 1 by 10,000. It goes on like that. Out of 10 parts I have that particular decimal point. Okay, so that's why we said it is a point that separates a whole number and a fraction, right? So let me explain with an example. For example, if you have 1 2 3 4 5.678, if you note, like if you had noted down how I pronounce the decimal, I didn't say it as 678, I said 678. So always remember, whenever you say a decimal number, you have to pronounce like 12,345.678. You should not say as 678, it is wrong. You should say as 678. Each number should be spelled separately. Clear? So if you see here, as usual, 12,348, the place value will be ones, tens, 100, 1000, 10,000. Okay, and after point my place value will be 10th, that is 6 by 10. Out of 10 I have 6 part. Okay, out of 100 I have 7 part. Out of 1000 I have 8 part. So if you see, it keep on decreasing. Out of 10th I have 6 part. Out of 100 again it is decreasing. So after when you go on to the from 10th to 100 to 1000, the place value keeps on decreasing, it gets reducing. Okay, so this is how the place value of the decimals. Okay, so remember, after point from right side starts with 10th, okay, 100th, 1000th. Like let me explain you more with some diagrammatic representation. For example, if you go to a shop, if you want to buy half kg, or if you want to buy 1.5 kg of chicken, how you will say? Will you say as 1/2 chicken? Can you give me 1/2 kg of chicken? Can you say like that? No. How we will say, can you give me 1.5 kg of chicken? Like in the monitor you can see when you put the chicken pieces, like if you are going for 1.5 kg, so what it will show? It will show us 1.5 or 1.5067, something like that. Okay, so that number we call it as decimal. Okay, so if you see here, I'm going to get a cauliflower. So you can see the weight of the cauliflower is 1.306. So how will I represent in place value? So you can see here, so 1 is representing ones. Then I have a decimal point. Then I have 3. 3 represent what? 10th. That is 3/10th. Next represent 100th. That is 0/100th. Next represent 1000. That is 6/1000. Okay, so imagine 6/1000 is, out of 1000 pieces I have only 6. So it's very smaller, like from 10th 3 is itself very smaller. Out of 100th 0 and out of 1000th 0 means what? You have only like you have a very little amount. In that little amount you are dividing into 1000 part. In that 1000 parts you are taking only 6 parts. So imagine how small it will be. So that's why you are saying after decimal point the place value just decreases. Clear? Fine. Okay, so this diagrammatic representation is to understand the decimal number. So that's why this diagrammatic representation, the splitting of the number, has been shown for you. For example, if I have a decimal number 15.57, this 15 represent the whole number, and the dot represent my decimal point, and 57 represent the decimal part. We call it as decimal fraction. Okay, so 57 that's why we said the point that separate whole number and the fraction. So we call it as decimal fraction. Clear? So let me explain you with the bar diagram. Okay, for example, I have a decimal number as 17.48. Now 17 represent my whole number and 48 represent my decimal part. So you can see here 17 means what? 17 ones I have, like 17 whole numbers I have. So you can see 17 boxes separately, 7 ones, and 1 10 box I have separately. So I have written 17 box separately. Now when it comes for 4, so 4 is nothing but 10th, TENTH, 10th. So which means what? I'm taking one piece, I'm dividing into 10 pieces. Out of 10, 4. So that is what? 4. That's 4 tenth. Okay, so 4 tenths is, you can see, out of 10, 4. Now next place value is what? 100th, which means what? In that again I'm taking one piece, I'm dividing into 100. Okay, so 100 piece, in that 8. So out of 100, 8. 8 out of 100. So 800th. Understood? So this is what the decimal number is about. So you can see, now when you compare 17, I have 17 whole numbers, but then I have 4 tenth and 800th. So when you comparing between 800th is very, very, very small comparing to the previous one. Okay, so this is what the parts of decimal. So 17.48, I have a whole number and I have a fractions, that is the parts. Okay, so the parts can be 10th part, 100th part, 1000th part. Clear? Fine. Let me give some more examples. So for example, 3.4. What does a 3.4 represent in place value chart? 3 is ones, right? So I have 3 bars. Then After point I have 4. 4 means what? 10th part, that is 4 by 10. Out of 10 I have 4. So I have in one piece I have 10 parts. In that 10 parts I have only 4. So that is what 3.4. Clear? For example, 0.4. 0.4 is what I have. In the whole number part I have nothing, there is 0. In the decimal part what I have? Out of 10 I have 4. Out of 10 parts, 10th parts, totally tens, in that 4. Clear? So that is what they have represent 4 by 10. 4 by 10 is what? Out of 10, 4. Okay, so that is why fraction and decimal are somewhat like, when you understand the fraction part, conversion of from fraction to decimal will be very easy. Clear? Fine. For example, if I have a decimal number 0.43, so what is the place value now? 0 is the ones place value, 4 is 10th place value, and 3 is 100th place value. Understood? So 4, you can see, out of 10th I have 4, and out of 100 I have 3. So imagine how smaller it is. Clear? So this is what the place value of decimals. So now I hope that you have understood the place value of decimal clearly. So left side of the decimal point you have ones, tens, 100,000 as usual. Right side of the decimal point you have 10th, 100th, 1000, 10,000. So when you go on further, your place value decreases. Clear? Fine. So now next we are going to see how to write. Now we have learnt about the place value of decimal numbers. Now we are going to see how to expand the decimal number. Okay, so for example, if I have decimal number 317.29, so first you write according to the place value. Okay, so before point I have 7 is in ones place, 1 is in tens place, and 3 is in hundreds place. So it's like normal place value. So how you will write in expanded form? 300, so 300 plus tens I have 1, so plus 10 plus 7 plus, then I have 2/10, right? So 2/10 means what? Out of 10 I have 2 parts. So how will I represent? I'll represent it by 0.2. How I wrote 0.2? Now how many zeros I have? Now always remember, decimals will be represented with the denominator as 10. Decimal fraction will always be represented as with the denominator as 10. Okay, so in my denominator what I have? 10. How many zeros I have? 1 0, which means what? Before one number I'll be keeping the point. So I have only one number, so before that keep the point 0.2. Okay, let me take next one. What is the next number I have? That is 9. 9 is in what? 100th place, that is 9 by 100. So how many zeros I have? 2 zeros, which means what? Before 2 number I need to keep point. But in my numerator I have only one number, so what I will do? Before that one number I'll put 1 0, and then I will keep a point. Clear? That is, I have only one number, okay, but I need 2 number, then only I can keep point. So what I'm going to do? Before that number, not after, before that number I'll put 0. Why I'm putting 0 before that number? Because now if you see, what is this number? The number is 9. The value has not changed. Suppose if I write after that number, then it becomes as 90. Okay, which means the value will change. My question is 9, not 90, right? So it is wrong. That's why I said you have to put 0 before the number. When you put 0 before the 0, doesn't have any value, right? Unless or until if I write along with one number only, it has a value. And if I'm going to write before the number, then obviously it doesn't have any value. The number will remain as it is, the value won't change. So that's why I'm writing 0 before the number. So before 9 I'll put 0. Then now it has become as 2 number. Now keep the point. Okay, so it has become 0.09. So to like, why I'm putting 0? Because if I write only 0.09, sometimes point will not be visible. So that's why to highlight the point, decimal point, I'm putting 1 0 before. Okay, now still the 0 don't have any value. Clear? So 0.09. So this is how you write in expanded form. You just need to be careful only with the decimal, the numbers which is after decimal point. So you just don't need to worry. If it is in the 10th place, just write the number and put a point and put 0.2. If it is in the 100th place, 0.09. Suppose if you have another number like 3 in the 1000th place, so how you will write? 3 by 1000, which means what? Before 3 number, because I have 3 0, so before 3 numbers I need to keep point, but I have only one number, so what I should put? I should put 2 zeros before. Now what happened? It has become as 3 number, but still the value is 3 only, value has not changed. Okay, so this is why we put 0 before the number. Now keep the point. Okay, and then put a 0, so 0.003, so plus 0.003, so 10th, 100th, 1000th. Okay, 10th, 100th, 1000. Clear? So 317.293. Got it? So this is how you expand the decimal number. Clear? So always remember, in your decimal point, so this is your decimal point, you can see there I have you can see the arrow mark and I have shown the decimal point. So the left side of the decimal point, the value increases from ones, it goes to tens, tens to 100, 100 to 1000. We just multiply by 10. Okay, so what happened? We just multiply by 10. To the right side, it is like the value decreases, we divide by 10. Okay, we divide by 10. So to the left side the value increase, to the right side we value decrease. That's why we are writing 1 by 10, 2 by 100th, 3 by 1000th. We divide by tens. So for first place value it is division by 10. For the second place value after decimal point, it is 210. That is 10 into 10. What is 10 into 10? 100. So by 100th. That's why we represent as 100th. For the third place value, it is 10 into 10 into 10. So it is 1000th. So by 1000. Understood? So this is how the place value of the decimal number. So I hope that in this video you have understood what is decimal number and how to write, or what is the place value of the decimal number, and how to write an expanded form of the decimal number. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me in the next video I'll explain how to add or how to subtract and multiply the decimal numbers. So thank you all. We'll meet you all in the next video.